reading an ebook by Stefan Molyneux, which he kindly put onto Kindle, not Prime, Kindle Unlimited, so I could borrow it and read it. And actually, it's an enjoyable book. I enjoy Mr. Molyneux's performances quite often, not 100%, but pretty near his YouTube performances. And it's interesting for me to read an ebook by him about argument. The art of argument. Well, it's interesting. So, sitting here reading it, there was a particular passage which offended me because it was unwarranted and even seriously ad hominem, which I felt in that particular instance was inappropriate in a book of the nature of this book. So I made a note about it, and I may pass that on. In any event, at that point, I checked the clock, and it said, it felt like 10 minutes before 11. Okay, got a couple minutes left. Latest I checked, it's 7 minutes before. So now the game is afoot, and even expanded by the presence of the cigarette, which I would prefer not to take into the bedroom when I go to take my morning 11 a.m. drugs. And the game is that I get there before the alarm clock that's set for 11 o'clock bedroom time. God only knows whether it's absolutely on or not. And we do have a Funkuhr in the kitchen that gets its belief as to what time it is from a central, presumably ultimately accurate and reliable source. So that's the real time. In any event, the game is afoot. And cutting it close, because here I've lit a cigarette. So the game, of course, is to get there before the alarm clock rings in the bedroom, switch it off, reset it for 11 p.m. in this case. Take 5 pills, 2 of which are half pills and 1 of which is repeated in the evening. Reset the alarm, as said, for 2300, and fertig. Unless it's the evening of the 4th day, in which case, ritually, right on time, I will replace 4 days worth of medications, new pills, every 4th day. So that, in a way, is my week. It's got 4 days between pill counting or whatever. And that one I've decided to go forward and then around from wherever we are today. So going in that direction, the first box you hit is the first box to fill, because that's like tomorrow, actually. Well, no, it's a week from 4 days ago, but anyway. It's the first to be used, and therefore, if, in fact, as is rarely but occasionally the case, that there ain't enough for the whole 4 days, which one do you want to fill? So, even though it often means a wraparound, I do follow the regimen, so to speak, of filling the next used day first, just as a habit, as a, which way shall I go? All right, I'll go that way. The other way, of course, would be just left to right, one and then 3 more or something with a gap of 4 in between, perhaps. Some number less than 7 in any case. And when I take the pills out of the box in the morning, I put back the portion intended for the evening, naturally, and I count them: 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes there's an extra half of urologicum, piss enhancer, I guess, which I think taking the slightly extra dose may help with preventing or reducing swelling in my lower limbs. So if I have that, I set that aside for later in the day. Count how many pills I have left. It's 5. Pop them in my mouth, on my tongue, in such a way that I can feel like 99.9% certain that every bit of pill in my hand, 2 of which are broken from a larger pill, makes it into my mouth. And then I sip water from a grungy old sip-type water bottle. And I'm done for the day, or done for that period, or that moment, whichever. And yeah, I may even have to call up the philosopher and discuss this point with him. I've noted in my copy of his book. I don't know if there's any way of transmitting that input, that feedback, other than calling during the program, God knows. Whatever, anyway. Email, probably, yes. So, I think that's enough at just 9 minutes. So, I will say, L'chaim.